emerger pattern. This is what I call the haystack emerger. Now this is the olive version that I'm going to be tying. You can tie it in whatever colour combination you like, and basically this is a good pattern both rivers and in lofts. Now this is the hook I'm using here is a size 12 B160. What it is a short shank wide gape. The shank length is equivalent to a 14, but the gape's equivalent to a size 12. So it's a good, I like it as a good emerger type hook. Use whatever hook you can find, it's up to yourself. Thread I'm going to be using is a uni thread 80 in olive. Now I've waxed the thread before I started, and then I'm going to run the thread halfway down the shank, break off the waste piece and bring it approximately halfway back up. Now the wing I'm using, this is Coastal deer hair. Now when you're selecting your patch, what I look for especially is, see if you look at the tips of the deer hair, you see a fine black tip. I want it as small as that, I don't want it any longer than this. It's so that I get more of the colour of the deer hair and the deer hair, the bit you're looking for. If you have the long fine black fibres, basically it's too late in the season as far as I believe. This is a good one. Now if you look through the packets, I mean another good hair to use would be like, I like a squid. You could use this roll if you wanted, or you could elk hair. But I would say the Coastal, the deer, is the one I like. The first thing is obviously bring out enough to form both wings. Cut it away from the skin. Just twist your fingers, this will open out the fibres. Now you need to remove this fine underfur. Just bring your fingers through and remove it, that'll stop it stacking if you don't take that out. It's much easier to manage as well, save a bit of bulk. Into the stacker tips first. Tap on your desk and you'll see that the tips they are lined up. Now you can obviously see the black tip there much easier. It's plenty, see how small it is. So you get more colour in the deer hair. Remove it from the stacker. Now the length of the wing, it's really up to yourself. It could be the length of the hook or just the length of the shank. That works. Both of those work depending how. If you're really in rough water and you're fishing the rivers, sometimes it's best to have them a wee bit bigger. If you want a wee bit lower, obviously, then you have a medium, have an in between sort of thing. So mine's as much the length of the shank. That goes forward of the eye. Now, before I go further, make sure you wax your thread. I keep the wax on the side of my finger. You need the grip here, so you must have grip. There's the length. Again, a couple of turns. Make sure I get the length right. And then tighten up. Now, what I'm going to do here is make sure these fibres are forward. I don't want to catch these in, so just take them forward. And then come down with a couple of loose turns, as you can see there. And then I fill this up with some turns of thread, so it's really tight. And then I break off the deer hair. Now I'm doing a turn. Every time I pull, I'm slightly loosening a turn of thread, so by putting a turn in, this locks it in. And as you can see, it cuts it, tears it off. Now, if you look here, it's much neater. Tiny wee lump, that's as much as you're going to get. And if you trim that away and then try and cover it up, you end up with a big lump. And you don't want that. So that's how I do it. Come back up with the thread. Now I want to lift the deer hair. So I basically lift it up. I want to put tons of thread right in at the base and front. Not onto the deer hair, just to build up some thread turns to just lift the deer hair. And there we are. That's basically your comparadon wing there, really nice and tight. I'm going to just set it forwards, just take it out of the way first, because I'm going to carry one down towards the back, tie in the rib on the way down. Now the rib is a Uni-Mylar Pearl. This is number 14. You could go number 16 if you want. Now 16 is a small, the 14 is a medium, so this is a medium. So it's much easier to tie in the way round. I want to try and keep the body reasonably thin, so take it all the way around as far as you want to this point here. Now for the body, I'm using I'll show you here. This is SLF. Synthetic living fibre. It's by Wopsy. And Davie Watton was the original, who originally put this together. This here is your substitute for seal's fur. This is a great sub for seal's fur. And just take some out of the packet. As you see, I cut a wee hole in the side. Much easier to pull it out. This is a medium olive. Now I'm just going to dub it on reasonably tight. Now to give an idea how I dub, you imagine this is my anchor point. This is my fingers that I twist the dubbing round the thread. Now I'm putting these twists in. You keep doing it the same way. Build up the twists, and you see how that just keeps roping. You feed that dubbing into the around the thread. It's very easy to do, as you can see. And then once you've got an anchor point, you can tighten up even more, put more twists in, and that'll tighten the dubbing up, depending on the type of body that you're looking for. And that's how I basically apply the dubbing to the thread. Now, once it's onto the thread, I slide it up, I do a turn, which just catches the dubbing and no more. Now the anchor point now is this area here. So then I can twist and wind the dubbing up. As you can see, you can then form the shape that you like, or what you want in your fly, all the way up. And there we are. Then you want to bring your, in this case, your pearl rib up through. Probably looking about 4 turns in this size of fly. Cross your thread. 3 or 4 turns to hold. Trim away the excess. At this point, best to obviously add a wee bit of wax. And I like to tidy up. Just tidy up that area. Have a wee look at the body, see how it looks. If you're happy with it, if there's some fibres that's too long, you can always trim them away. If you want them rough, just leave it like it is. That's the way. It's rough sometimes is better. And needs a wee drop more dubbing. Same dubbing. Again, onto your thread. Slide it up. Just build up just some at the back. And then what I do is split it in half. Just take some of the hair to the back. Just gonna make sure you get a nice even split. That looks okay. And then just concentrate, obviously making sure the dubbing stays on your thread, tighten it up. Just build up a kind of space between the D here. Even with some bare turns of thread. Once you're happy, see, you want to split the D here, separate it, make sure it stays apart. And then I'm just lightly bringing the thread to the front. You could tie off if you want, but I'm going to just put a tiny bit of dubbing just in front, which helps to lift the wing a wee bit. Slide it up. I want to try and keep the D here splayed out, fanned out, much like the Kambara done. Just a wee bit of dubbing in at the front here. You don't want to tie it onto the D here. Again, any fibres going forward of the eye, just stroke them back, and 2 or 3 turns of thread will lock them out. A wee bit of wax. A wee bit of varnish here, just to run it onto the thread about maybe ½ inch from the eye. And then wet finish. So watch, don't catch the wing, just take your time. And there we are, tighten up and trim away your thread. Come in and get this to sit the way you want. And there we are. And that's the wee, I'll call the haystack emerger. You can fiddle a bit if you want. Just going to take a couple of long fibres away. And there we are.